Good day, everybody. I'm Shmi, and I make guides for Path of Exile's Ruthless mode. If you're enjoying the content, please hit that like button, and feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more. Today, I'm back to show you all how to create a Ruthless Cold Dot Occultist. Your damage is good at nearly all times, and I'm currently flying through yellow maps with level 16 spell gems. You're going to use Cold Snap, Creeping Frost, and Wintertide Brand, and since most of your damage is damage over time, this build can even clear Elemental Reflect maps. Just make sure you don't Cold Snap big groups of monsters. Most interesting is that this build is more tanky than it has any business being. You're going to wear a mishmash of chain and plate, but you'll want a circlet for a helm with as much energy shield as possible. You'll wield a one-handed caster weapon of your choice, scepter and wand is best, as well as a shield. Ideally, you'll want a full set of chainmail, and in a perfect world, your health pool and your total energy shield are going to be about the same size, but that's going to take phenomenally stellar gear or acquiring the Discipline aura in order to make that happen. You don't get a ton of armor and energy shield, but you do get 50% of the damage you take recouped as life. Once you also get the Ascendancy Vile Bastion, this means that you are recouping 100% of the hit damage that you take. On top of that, you add in Mind Over Matter, so that while none of your armor, energy shield, or mana pool are particularly great by themselves, all three together create one gigantic effective health pool. And we'll just add on the Mastery to recoup 10% of the damage as mana, because why not? 110% damage recoup, let's go. Once you get your Eternal Labyrinth done, you're also going to be picking up the Unholy Authority Ascendancy, which allows you to double up on your curses. This build is both tanky, but it also has a pretty high innate damage. That means that you can use your double curse power defensively, offensively, or somewhere in between. Once you gain this ability, you can also pick up Bane, mostly for quality of life, just to apply both curses with one button press. It's optional. I'm going to be going for Bane with Frostbite and Elemental Weakness because I am both greedy and impatient. But the best part, there is absolutely no pre-farming at all required for this class. If you want to make a Cold Dot Occultist, all you need to do is create a witch. You're going to start with Fireball, but you'll hardly ever use it. Early on, you're going to be using Frost Bomb, Creeping Frost, and Freezing Pulse as your main spell toolkit. Take the following skills as the rewards for your quests in Act 1. For skills after Act 1, there are a few notes to make. You're going to get Cold Snap early on in Act 2. Cold Snap is amazing. Most small packs are just going to die to a single Cold Snap, and they'll fill up your Frenzy charges. Clearing after you get Cold Snap is more about chain spamming one Cold Snap for each large group of monsters while you're running. After you find Tolman at the start of Act 3, you're going to be offered Bane as well as an array of curses. Even if you intend on using Bane at Endgame, picking Bane first is a bad idea. My pick was Frostbite, but Temporal Chains and Enfeeble are also valid choices if you would like to use your curses defensively. Also note that this build uses both Creeping Frost and Wintertide Brand. Both are level 12 skills, but you're not going to acquire Wintertide Brand until about level 30 using your first uncarved gemstone. Wintertide Brand will be dead weight due to terrible base damage until you get it leveled up and teched in the passive tree. But once you do get it to a decent level, usually around Act 5 or 6, it gets great. But until then, you might not even put it on your skill bar. You can hold on to your second and third uncarved gemstones until the end game. You're going to use them to get Bane as well as a second curse of your choice, but you don't need them until you get the Unholy Authority Ascendancy with your Eternal Labyrinth. If you have the gem space, you can pick them up to level them up early, but it's not necessary. To level your passive tree, start on the outer left leg from the Witch's beginning area, and then cut in to take Arcanist's Dominion, Frostwalker, Heart of Soul, and Practical Application. Then head to the Templar area, but stop to take the Quick Recovery Cluster as well as the Life Mastery for plus 50 to maximum life. Then head all the way down to get Sanctity, Holy Dominion, Light of Divinity, and Amplify. Note that we are not taking every single increased area of effect node. Once you have all of these, go back to the Witch area. Develop Beyond Heart and Soul to take Vampirism, Melding, and Blast Radius. Then head up to take Essence Surge. Develop the top pathing, but only take Infused Flesh and Cruel Preparation. Skip Deep Thoughts, Heart of Ice, and Breath of Rhyme for now, and head back to the Templar area of the tree. Develop the Runesmith cluster and immediately take the Mastery, which causes your brands to change targets when they activate. Also take the Runebinder Keystone. When clearing, this will shift your Wintertide brands into a sort of spreading contagion of frost. Against bosses and hard targets, the brands are still going to stick for their entire duration, and they add a whole lot of damage. Now, we're going to develop South of Sanctity to take the Combat Stamina cluster, as well as the Mastery to take 30% reduced extra critical damage. Then keep going to take Tireless and Sanctum of Thought. If you're struggling with Dexterity, you can take the Expertise Keystone, but that's optional. Your pathing now is done, and we can go back and develop all of the goodies that we skipped up top. Take Heart of Ice first for the penetration, as well as Breath of Rhyme and the Mastery to double the energy shield from your helmet. You'll want to take Deep Thoughts before you turn on Mind over Matter, but you're likely not going to have enough mana and mana regeneration to sustain that until you're in the 70s. It's tough to say exactly when to activate it because it depends on your mana, your health, your regen, your armor, and your energy shield. But I turned Mind over Matter on around level 70, taking Breath of Rhyme last, and that worked well. For developing into the endgame, you can take Arcane Focus for energy shield, Arcane Will for mana regeneration, you can develop the Anointed Flesh cluster, or you can take any of these 4 points, which offer 10% increased armor and 5% increased energy shield. Those nodes are crazy in terms of stat budgeting. You also have relatively easy access to this cluster jewel socket and these 3 abyss jewel sockets. For your Ascendancies, take Void Beacon first, take Vile Bastion second, take Frigid Wake third, and when you complete your Eternal Labyrinth, take Unholy Authority. The only special note regarding your Ascendancies is that I would recommend you put off your Cruel Labyrinth until around level 60 or so. In this build, around level 55, you're going to have a solid health pool, but very little mitigation. I tried running the Cruel Labs twice at level 55, and I was instantly deleted twice by Izaro. Instead of tryharding, I just ran Act 8, and then I face-rolled the Cruel Labyrinth at 60. Vile Bastion is an amazing Ascendancy, but it can wait. The further that you progress, the more pieces come together. You unite your health, your energy shield, and your mana pool into one gigantic effective health pool, recouping more than 100% of the damage that you take, and all while your immense cold damage is quickly destroying everything in your path. You can take down permanently chilled bosses with ease and laugh off the vast majority of enemies that you run into, and the harder everything in Ray class tries to kill you, the tankier that you get. With this Cold Dot Occultist, your mere presence will send a chill down the spine of everyone around you. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care, Exiles.